Hi everyone! For the first video on this new YouTube channel, we are going to analyze Donald Trump's historic decision concerning Jerusalem. As this is such a complicated subject, of course it's impossible to say everything in 5 minutes. My objective is to present you with a general overview to understand why it is so important and why it is all over the news. So let's not waste any more time and dive straight in. What has Donald Trump done in the last few days? Well, Donald Trump has announced that the United States of America were going to transfer their embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Most embassies are in a country's capital city. By transferring its embassy to Jerusalem, Donald Trump is recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital. The only country until then that recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital was, well, Israel and no one else. Israel claiming Jerusalem as its capital leads to a pretty tricky situation. Why? Well, because Jerusalem is a holy city for different religions. In Jerusalem, there is the Wall of Lamentations, the most important holy place for Jews. There is also the third most important holy monument in Islam, Al-Aqsa Mosque. You also have the Holy Sepulchre for Christians. But the trickiest part of this situation is that Jerusalem is at the center of a long-lasting conflict between Palestinians and Israelis. Palestinians claim East Jerusalem to be the capital of the state to which they aspire. Israel claims Jerusalem to be its capital. Palestinians claim East Jerusalem to be their capital. And above all that, the international community refuses to settle the question. The idea is that the question is so sensitive that it should not be settled right away, and negotiations should deal with other priorities first. So Donald Trump's decision is important for two reasons. Important, firstly, because the United States had agreed to a certain level of neutrality to allow the peace to settle between Israelis and Palestinians. But secondly, this is also important because the United States are not any country. They aspire to act as a mediator between Palestinians and Israelis. By recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital, the United States forced themselves out of their role as a mediator. Also, hope for peace in the region are highly diminished, at least in the short run. So how has the news of the transfer of the American embassy to Jerusalem been perceived in the rest of the world? Well, most reactions have followed the same lines, and nearly all condemned Donald Trump's decision. Quite logically, countries such as Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Lebanon or Jordan reacted harshly. In Europe too, many countries condemned the transfer of the American embassy. For example, the French President Emmanuel Macron qualified Donald Trump's decision to transfer the American embassy to Jerusalem as regrettable. In fact, the only state pleased with the news was, well, Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's Prime Minister, spoke of an historic day. To be extremely clear, what is important is not the fact that the American embassy was transferred to Jerusalem. Moving an embassy takes a few years anyway, so it won't be ready tomorrow. No, as you will have understood, what is important is the message sent by a state which, until then, was a mediator in the negotiations between Israel and Palestine. Since Trump's announcement, tensions have risen in the region. Almost in the seconds following Donald Trump's speech, Hamas, the Islamic organization which leads the Gaza Strip, called for a new intifada. An intifada is a violent uproar from Palestinians toward the states of Israel, and consequently against Israelis too. As I'm shooting this video, a new intifada hasn't started, but tensions are on the rise. Clashes between Palestinians and Israel have occurred. Israel's army has responded to rocket launches coming from the Gaza Strip that they consider have come from Hamas. As I'm recording this video, 4 Palestinians have died in Israeli raids following Trump's decision. That's all for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. As this is a first for this new YouTube channel, you probably haven't subscribed yet, so please do so by clicking on that subscribe button. You can also add a thumbs up to show your support, and why not activate the notifications to be the first to know everything. As for me, it was a pleasure. See you soon.